Okay, you guys, so a lot of you are interested in doing HTV, or you're interested in using a Cricut or, you know, a silhouette, whatever it is. So I thought it would be helpful to make a video since I actually have to use my Cricut. This is the first time I've used mine in, how long, babe? Like over a year. Well over a year. So like almost 2 years since I've used mine. So yeah, I thought I'd just kind of like walk you guys through it. I'm going to be cutting out some HTV, which is heat transfer vinyl, as well as some vinyl decals. So yeah. There are a lot of pros and cons to HTV when you're starting out if you're going to be doing t-shirts. A lot of the times it's, you know, availability and price, and as well as like just like investment. There's not as big of an investment when you do HTV starting off. So that's like one of the big pros to it. The cons are it takes a very, very long time depending on the design to weed it, and also like you're limited with color options and variations in that aspect. But, you know, kind of depends. So the reason we're doing HTV today is because my father-in-law has a store in Rogue River, Oregon called All of the Above. And it's on Red River Highway. You guys can go check it out. It's awesome. And he sells the best tie-dye shirts ever. And he wanted one of our Not My Way Yahweh designs on some white t-shirts so that he can get them tie-dyed. And for us, it's just, you know, it's not too complicated of a design to weed. It'll hold up really well with the tie-dyeing process. And we can do it on blanks and then have him get the blanks tie-dyed, and it's not going to compromise it. So that's why we're doing it today. Okay, so I have the image put onto the Cricut machine, and then I'm just gonna select my width. I picked 9 1/4, so that'll be a full-size chest design. And just moving it around for whatever reason. Okay, so now this is where they have the without mat, on mat option, something they did not have back when I was first doing Cricut. So I pick it with a mat, and this is going to be one of the important steps. You want to make sure you put it on mirrored image if it's HTV. If you're doing vinyl, HTV, and then select your Wi-Fi. Okay, so this is an extra little step. I need 10 of these cut out, so I just went ahead and duplicated the image 9 times. And then I'm going to make sure that I swipe each one over as mirrored. That way, you know, if you forget to do this step, obviously they'll come out reversed, and it'll be a big, huge waste of vinyl. So make sure you don't forget that step if you do this. The Cricut model that we're going to be using is the Cricut Explore. I think it's the Air 2. Can't remember, but look, this was back in the day when we used to hand cut every t-shirt, and I've cut literally hundreds of shirts, which is just crazy. We're going to be using HTV vinyl. This brand is a brand that I've never used before. I tore the packaging. Let me see. I did buy it on Amazon. Hintonk. I don't know. It had really good reviews, so I was just like, okay, cool. It's got good reviews. Yeah, I'm just going to give it a go. This is a light blue Cricut mat, which means it's a light grip. The reason I have a light grip mat is because I was using this for paper last time I'd been at this, and it's not ideal for vinyl. I will say I like the medium grip for HTV, but yeah, there's just, you know, it kind of depends. It's good to have multiple mats. I would also suggest getting a long mat if you're going to be using this for, like, if you were going to be just doing this for t-shirts starting off as a business, I would get the longer mat that's like 24 inches long, and I would get the medium grip. Because as you can see, the light grip on the HTV kind of likes to curl up. So I'm probably going to tape this down a little bit with some double-sided tape. Or you can even do like a spray adhesive if your mats are getting dirty. And then, yeah, you want to make sure you are shiny side down, and you want to make sure that your image is reversed. I'll probably do some like overlay video of me doing it on the Cricut, but yeah. And there it goes, and I just ended up taping that little corner because you do not want it to lift. If it lifts, it will pull the whole vinyl down and it'll be terrible. And yeah, you just want to make sure that this is in here really straight, that it's not going to get jammed, that it's got plenty of space behind the machine so that it can feed through. And yeah, there is like a fast speed setting on this machine. I don't like it. I feel like it's just louder and it's not much faster, and it kind of just like is too aggressive. So I'm just going to take it slow. We're going to let it go. Okay, so this one's done. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to lift this, and then we'll start weeding. just gonna take my weeder right here. I don't have my, I should go get my tripod. But one of the things I did notice that Cricut started doing is that they are now doing a thing where you can cut without the mat, which is something Silhouette usually does, and I really like that option. If you can do it without a mat, I would. I know that I can feed this without a mat, but I've also ran into issues with it, so I'm not doing that today just because I would rather just be patient and get it done and not have to do it twice. Yeah, I really admire that about the Cricut with its new design setup. I don't know where my tripod went. I really like their little weeding tool that they have. Had this one forever, so it's kind of beat up. But I'm just gonna go, yeah, from one corner. Okay, you give a big hug. Okay, so we're gonna go from this corner right here. We're just gonna pull, get your palm flat. There we have it. So when we go to put it on the t-shirt, that's what it'll look like. And this is how we cut it out. Now comes to the time to actually press your garment. So for me, we're just using a Transfer Express. This is a clamshell application. I've had this for a couple years. We've blown through a few heat presses, and this one has lasted us the longest. This is the Impress. I would love to get a new one, honestly, but this one works just fine, and we're moving into screen printing, so there's really no need for us to go and spend a few $100s on an item that we won't be using very much in the near future. So I have it set to 320 for 10 seconds, which is approximately what this, you know, it kind of gives you a variation. It'll say like 300 to 320 for 10 to 15 seconds. So I did 320 for 10 seconds. So the heat press is heating up, which will take a few minutes. But what I kind of wanted to mention here is you'll see I laid down each garment with each vinyl. I like this for two reasons. One reason, when you pull vinyl off of vinyl, like if this sheet is sitting on the sheet below it, there's a chance that the weeding could get messed up. So by separating those now, since I did cut these out earlier and then I'm pressing them later, I needed to separate them. And so in separating them and doing them on the garment, I can actually make sure that everything's weeded properly, that all my letters are weeded, that there's no mistakes. Because the last thing you want to do is press a garment with the item that was supposed to be weeded still attached, or you tear something, don't notice it. So we're just doing this to kind of evaluate the product. Also, these are white garments. We want to make sure there's no dirt or dust on them. And yeah, so that's what I did. I prepared these. I went over them twice. I checked my sizes, everything about it, just to make sure it was exactly what I wanted for my order. So now this will finish heating up, and then we can jump into actually pressing. I apologize in advance on how I'm going to record this because my tripod's dead right now. I'm just going to kind of walk it past in steps. So step one, lay the garment down. So certain things that I will do. So right here where this pad ends is where the end of the collar starts. So right there. So I'm gonna make sure it's straight, it's got equal amounts hanging on each side, and that the garment itself is vertically, horizontally squared up with the mat. Now step two, if you notice it's all flat and ironed out, I pre-pressed it for 3 to 5 seconds. So that's going to get out any of the moisture. If you're in a humid area, I highly suggest making sure that you never forget this step. You shouldn't anyways, but especially for those who are in humid climates. So now that the garment is pre-pressed, I'm going to go on to step 3, which is laying down the HTV. Now laying down the HTV, I want to make sure that this design is centered with my tag, that the garment's centered so that the design is centered. That's why it's important just to have everything laid out nicely. And then the distance between your collar and the design is going to kind of just vary and depend. It's going to depend on the design itself, and it's also going to depend on the garment. This is a like full-size front piece, so I'm going to want it about 2 to 3 inches below the collar on a size small to medium. A large, I would say three fingers, same with an extra large. Okay, there we go. And this is a hot peel. Cold peels I find that are harder to work with. Hot peels are really nice. Pull them off right away. Discard that. And yeah, it looks really good. So some things to note is that there are differences in black vinyls. There are shiny black vinyls and there are flat black vinyls. There are hot peels and cold peels. So what I prefer personally is flat black with hot peels. That's just what I like using. See how it doesn't have like a shine or a sheen to it? And then these are going to be tie-dyed, so it's just going to look really nice on the garment. Yeah, and that's it. You fold them up, package them, send them to your client.